audio should be going. Everything should be all set. So, thank you all for playing in this campaign. And I think what we have is going to be quite the story by the end of it. So, let's see. Everything is good to go. Perfect. All right. Before we start this campaign, I think I would like to preface it with some words that might give an indication for things to come. So, Jesus, man. The character art already getting quite the comments. Okay. There is a moral debt that all people can accrue. This is the weight created by your past actions, decisions, and choices that you have made. Each and every one of them building and building, influencing every situation you face time after time. Like everything owed in life, there comes a time for collection. Unlike traditional debts, however, a moral debt can be collected upon over and over. It is a weight which can never be removed. To set the stage for our campaign, we are in the city of Valdiras, a city of law and order where those with wealth have very little issue finding some sort of plot hole, or loophole, I should say, one or another, to explain their way out of consequence for their actions. For the poor, however, this is a very different story. Often judged immediately on the spot, permanently branded, so that they are forever marked for their actions. No context to their crimes, no reasoning why, other than the reasoning given by the iron rods of the city. For those with power, this is the clever balance to ensuring their place atop the rest. For those who wish to rise above their station, they must always walk that thin line that separates those with and those without. It's not easy.
It's like a curse, but there is hope for you yet.
It is not easy, but with careful considerations and a great deal of luck, one could find themselves immensely wealthy in a short period of time. This opportunity draws people to the city. The vast majority, however, find themselves on the other end of a brand, forever marked as unworthy of status. In Valdiras, there is something referred to as the Rains. Celebrated by the first criminals of the city in defiance of the brands given out by the iron rods, it has now blossomed into something of a local holiday, where people can gather together without fear that they may be found in consequence of some minor crime and yet branded at the whims of a particularly harsh iron rod. Every time about this year there is talk whether or not the city will see the rains. They never pass too far, often seen in the mountains around. Every year from their passing, they are said to grow closer and closer. What decides whether or not Valdiras will get rain is simply an unknown. But what is seen by all in the city today is storm clouds on the horizon, and many whispers and conversations happening in the city for what opportunities may be presented in the coming days. And so, we begin our story in this city. The rolling layout of Valdiras and the valley crested by mountains on all sides. We come to known as, in the city, a location called the Iron Bastille. Let me get some music going, and we shall begin. So, Virgil Ortega, if you could please describe visually your character, what people might see if they were to look upon you at any moment during the normal working day of an iron rod.
Yep. So Virgil's sort of your stereotypical iron rod. Doesn't look much different to any of the other thousands that you see around the city. Mostly what stands out is the uniform that he's wearing. He's got a sort of copper and grey coloured brigandine on, and the sort of stereotypical iron rod style barbute helmet with a black silk ribbon tied around the brim. At his side, he's got the usual rod of office, the 3 foot long dark iron rod that all iron rods carry, and it's where they get their name from. And at his other side, he's got a broadsword that's quite uniform to most iron rods in the city.
Okay. So, we zoom in on you, sitting atop a wagon. You have pulled the unlucky job of prisoner exchange. You are to take the prisoner that is currently in the wagon behind you, locked down, take him up to the Iron Bastille. In exchange, you will receive another one, bring them down back to the city, and essentially let them loose as soon as you make your way back in. So, as you are cresting up this slow, kind of hilly portion of the city atop which the Iron Bastille sits waiting, kind of looming over the city, the ultimate consequence of deception and poor choice in a city of law. As you make your way up, above you and all around, you can see the dark clouds, the gathering storm. How does Virgil feel about the rains and seeing them get so close? I mean, you know, the weather may set in for quite some time. The ability to inflict brands, inflict justice, I guess, in Virgil's opinion, may be disrupted over the next few days.
He's definitely apprehensive. He knows that it's only the few thousand or so iron rods that actually keep the city from falling into ruin, and he hopes that they're cut out for the next couple of days if it does rain.
Fair enough. So, as you climb closer, finally, a prisoner who has been quite silent this entire time kind of speaks up, you know, calling through the bars of the wagon. They're essentially on full display, right? For people, you know, walking past, they can see right in, they can see the figure. He'll kind of call out into your direction, Virgil. You know, this is a mistake.
Virgil just sort of looks round.
You're not doing the right thing here.
Just keeps staring at him.
Kind of looks at you between the bars, right? No response. He just kind of shakes his head, a bit disappointed.
Virgil looks back to what he was, the road ahead, making sure that no one's getting too close or anything like that.
Yeah, and people give a wide berth, right? These carts are very common in the city, right? It's not uncommon to see prisoners kind of transported around. The guy in the back will just kind of chuckle to himself, you know, laugh. Oh man. You know, I was once like you. He kind of calls up, doesn't expect you to respond, but he just continues, like, you know, he kind of continues on with talking at you. I thought the city stood for justice and law, and I thought that what we did mattered most. You're simply another tool for those in charge, those beyond reproach.
Is Virgil aware of what this man did?
No. But for you, the way prisoner transports it is like nobody really wants to do this, right? This is like the last job anybody wants to do.
Yeah.
And so it's always like, you know, when your name gets called, it's like fuck, right? You know, now you've got to handle this. Well,
That's fine. Is Virgil the one that's is he leading the carriage or is he a passenger?
it's actually just you. Somebody else.
So I'm holding the reins.
Yeah, you're on the reins. You're leading this carriage as it makes its way up to the Iron Bastille. It is all you throughout. So, you should make your way up.
As we're going, can I just unhook my rod of office and I'll just lie it on the bench next to me so that it's in hand's reach easily?
Oh yeah, fair enough. Just set it down. You see, you do this while he's kind of talking to you. Is this?
Yeah. I want to make an intimidation against him. Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead. Let's let's check the first roll.
Is it rolled? Roll. There we go.
There you go. Oof.
Wah.
Yeah. Well, this decides the rest of the campaign.
There we go.
So yeah. So you pull the iron rod and kind of set it down. The person keeps talking though. It's almost like they didn't notice or they just no.
It's just a gob shot. That's fine.
Yeah. So. There are things happening in the city, top to the bottom. I didn't even do anything myself. I just...
when he says, I didn't even do anything, Virgil sort of gruffly chuckles. He just sort of...
It'll kind of stop him from talking, and he'll just kind of like nod. Yeah, well, nothing deserving of this. But I think when you fall into the wrong information, somebody has to take blame. Oh well. I won't bother. I know what type you are. I myself was just the same. Everything I'm saying to you right now, in one ear, out the other, means nothing, is nothing.
Virgil sort of just casually looks over his shoulder and says, you learn fast at least.
Just kind of mutters to himself, yeah. Kind of
should not abandon the dream.
Puts his head down and goes quiet for the rest of the journey upwards. So, we make your way up, reaching the top, the massive iron gate of the Iron Bastille. Set before you a couple of guards that stand out front, mostly to deal with incoming and outgoing. We'll kind of step forward, check the logs, right? Ensure that everything is perfectly fine. And they'll have you go through the usual motion. You bring the wagon in. You essentially unhook it from the horse. They'll take and essentially put the prisoner in a no escape sort of situation, right?
Just as they're taking him, I just want to very quickly say to them, that one's a talker. I'd suggest you gag him on the way.
One of them, a dirtier looking kind of guard of the Bastille, will kind of chuckle to himself. Yeah, well, they all are when they come in here. And just give you a smirk and a nod, and indeed you'll see that they will gag him, right, and essentially like rip him from the back, throw him to the ground, beat on him a little bit, throw the gag over, and then just rush into the prison itself with him. But you have to wait. So this is not a simple drop off. This is a pickup as well. You have somebody who is to come. As you take a look over the notes on your, essentially on the board, right, that lists the set plan here. Roll me a history check, if you could.
The question is if I can.
Or rather,
is it history or society?
Society in this one. Yep. Yep, never seen his name before. No big deal. So, just a woman. That's all you can guess. So, as you wait, the prisoner will eventually, well, I guess ex-prisoner at this point, right? They're about to get out. Who they were, what they were, no longer matters as soon as they are let loose in the city. And they'll come. And you'll see, it catches you by surprise. You assume because they're wearing the clothing that they were wearing the evening or the day they got arrested, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so you see a tall, strongly built woman wearing an elegant kind of, not an evening gown, but like an elegant knight's gown. This person looks like a noble, like someone of high status. And even as they approach, the guards within the Iron Bastille will show this person a great deal of respect, right? Kind of standing still, not moving around them, moving off out of their path, standing on either side of the wall and just kind of looking down, not looking to gain this person's eyes. And so they approach, and essentially the way it is the only way that they could get into the cart, right? They like, there's like an iron wall between, right? So the only way out is through and into the back of the wagon. And so they'll step through, kind of looking around at the mess of a wagon, and then take a seat after wiping off one of the wooden stools that is left in the back. They'll close up, and you'll be ready to go, making your way back to the city. So, you climb back in, maybe say goodbye. You've probably seen the guards here a number of times, right? They're familiar to you. I'm not sure how friendly Virgil is with others in the system, so to speak. But, a couple of...
He'll give him a nod, but nothing more than that. He won't make any small talk or anything. He'll just give him a nod and carry on.
Yeah, fair enough. And again, they'll do the same. Just give you a nod, wave you on. The massive iron gate will lift up, and you'll be allowed through. And just as you're through, the woman in the back will just kind of like take a deep sigh of relief, To be out, it is a great feeling, I'm sure you've come up here once or twice, but I'm glad to be home.
Virgil doesn't even look around.
Don't worry. When we get down to the bottom, just let me out as soon as you can. I don't need an escort.
So, Trill, can I just confirm then? You said this is a prisoner exchange.
Yeah, like, so one person's getting out, one person is going in. Essentially, the person you've
is
dropped
getting
off.
out of prison.
Exactly.
So have I got a particular place that I've got to take her to?
The way it works typically is that you would escort them where they requested, right? Like a special taxi for a final drop off.
Okay.
But in this case, they're saying, as soon as we reach the bottom of the hill, let me out, sort of deal, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, as you are making your way down, though, she kind of comments, you don't talk much.
Don't see much need for it.
It's a good thing. Talking too much really gets people in trouble, especially in this city.
That it does.
Do you do work on the side, or is this all you do?
What do you mean work on the side?
You know, opportunity here and there, make a little bit of extra money.
Virgil just very slowly. He hasn't turned his head at this time. He turns his head over to look over her, give her a glance over his shoulder, and then just sort of shakes his head and carries on looking forward.
One of those then. Oof. I can already tell that you're old underneath that helmet. Too old for your position now. Kind of jabbingly.
Yeah, that's getting to him.
Mm-hmm.
He sees him sort of maybe like raise his shoulders in agitation a little bit, sort of hunch over a little bit.
Yeah. You hear her kind of chuckle to herself in the back. Ah, well. And she'll go quiet. And so, you'll reach the bottom. You choose to let her out, basically, as soon as it's free to do so.
Yeah, as soon as it's, I'll just quickly scan to make sure there's no one, nefarious standing around, no one that stands out as looking a bit shady or anything. And I'll also check to make sure no one is eyeballing the carriage, like, overly.
Roll me a perception check, yeah? Sorry about that.
Perception.
Oof. 23. Yeah, as you reach the bottom, you look around and there are a number of people here. All of them doing well to hide themselves as they stand, doing their best to look as inconspicuous as possible. You've spent many years on the job. You've seen a number of, criminal types all around. As you look around now, these seem like, if you had a judgment, right? These are seasoned criminals. And if you hadn't been paying attention in this moment, maybe you wouldn't have seen them at all, right? They kind of blend in where they stand. But there are quite a number of them, indeed. And they're all doing their best to not gain any attention, but they are focused on the cart. They are looking, and they are affixed to the woman in the back.
Turn my head to look at her. These friends are yours?
Yeah, most of them. I think the others just want to get a good look.
You safe to get out here?
Absolutely.
And I guess we'll be seeing each other again very soon.
I doubt it. No. Even this was a mistake, but all wrongs get righted in the end. You let
The
her
law
out.
doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. As she's getting out, the law doesn't make mistakes.
Kind of smiles and she'll reach out and kind of touch you on the shoulder.
It's, Virgil sort of instinctively grips the hilt of his sword.
Yeah, she'll just kind of press her hand. No. The law is not. She kind of thinks for a moment. No. There's nothing I could say to you that would change your mind now anyways. But if you were smart, you would trust me. In any case, as she touches your shoulder and kind of looks around, stretches a little bit. Good to be home. Look me up sometime. If you really want to see me again. She'll put her hand out like a woman of status for you to take, you know?
Virgil just looks down at him. On your way then.
Yeah. And on yours. So we'll move away from the scene then. As this woman of status looks around like a returning conqueror. And those figures each all start to approach, gathering around her as she almost looks like she is holding court right here at the base of the Iron Bastille.
Can I make out anyone that stands out, or anyone in particular?
Yeah.
You don't have to describe them. I just want to know that there's people there that I would recognise if I saw them again.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
Almost each one that kind of breaks away and starts to approach, each one has very distinctive features about them. One thing I will say that is strange, and we'll use the old perception checks for this. For a group of people that really carry themselves like criminal, not a single one, and not even the prisoner from the Iron Bastille, carries with him a brand.
No brands.
No brands.
Very good criminals.
Indeed. So, we move away. And let us see where we find ourselves. Okay. So. Correct me if I say this wrong. Desiree?
Yeah, Desiree. Yeah.
Desiree. Okay. So, find ourselves at a small shop across the city of Valdiras. Small odds and oddities store. As we come inside, what do we see? What is, if you could please describe your character and what they might be doing on a typical day about their shop.
Desiree is a relatively short woman, fairly young looking, snow white hair, pale skin, round, like big round, like circle glasses, wearing what most people would probably consider like a researcher's outfit of sorts. But what she's doing is she is currently resting up against the counter of the pawn shop, shop called Odds and Ends, and kind of just like looking over, like reading a book that she had gotten. The store itself is like just kind of like a mishmash of piles of things in one location and then like other things organized on the other side. If you ever seen like the restaurants that have things all over the walls, it's totally like that, where it's just weird bits and bobs of things, items that probably either people needed to hawk for cash real quick, or something like she could be holding on to. She has like behind her on a like shelves behind her are things that are on hold for people who like loan, who need loans for money.
Yeah.
But all over the place, it's knickknacks and paddywhacks and give a dogs a bones, those kinds of deals.
Fair enough.
And she is currently just leaning over her counter, reading through just a book that she had gotten.
Fair enough. So, would you sit there, kind of just perusing a small book? City is new to the city, right? Not extremely new, but newer.
Yeah.
And so, although you know or you're familiar with the rains, you yourself have never experienced what that might be, right? How that event, that local holiday goes about. But even from the inside of your shop here, you can hear the rolling thunder in the distance. Anytime a customer will come in, taking a quick glance around as they open the door to the shop, wind will blow in, and that wind holds that smell of water, right? Fresh in the air. How does Desiree feel about the rains?
I would say that she's super excited. Like,
Okay.
she's never gotten to really be part of the festival, basically the celebration of it.
Mm-hmm.
So she's more excited to see what happens with people when like it all happens.
Okay. Absolutely. So, you sit there kind of perusing a book. The door to your shop will fly open, and actually the person who enters in kind of throws himself in. The door swinging violently, kind of slamming on the opposite wall side before reversing, coming back and closing behind the person who enters, and they kind of rush forward. This is a person who is a hood over their head, obscuring most of their face. But what little you can see a brand that goes down and almost connects to the lip on the right side. They have a little bit of facial hair, not enough to cover the brand itself, but it obscures it just a little bit. They rush forward wearing this dark coat with the hood over their face, and they kind of rush up to the counter, and they immediately kind of procure this small little statue of some sort from within their coat and kind of set it down, and they're kind of speaking pretty quickly, right? They look agitated. They look like they keep like throwing looks over their shoulders. They know they've made a grand entrance, right? This is spectacular kind of slamming inside, and they have this nervous energy about them. What can you give me for that? I heard you buy things like this. This is the kind of stuff you purchase, right? And they'll kind of just try to shove it over into your hands.
Yes. Give me just one moment, please. And then she starts, she picks up the statue and starts looking at it, moving it around, this and that, to get a good look at it.
Okay. So as you take a look at this statue, the make itself, this thing looks... Actually, give me an occultism check here.
Oh boy.
18 total. This item has a strange make about it. It doesn't seem local. Much about it, it has a fine make to it. The quality is definitely outstanding, but you have seen a number of things from this region, right? Within your time as a shop owner, this is definitely not from around here, so to speak. Looks like it is crafted with a fine gold. As you look at it, there are lines in it that intersect every so often, almost looking like runic lines, but these are not any runes that you have ever you've never seen at all, right? You have never seen an item with this type of marking, and just kind of holding it in your hands, it feels, your intuition, your gut instinct on this is a bit much, right, for the kind of shop that you run. This is maybe a bit outside of the scope, but at the same time, this is almost like of extreme interest in that you've never seen anything like its make before. So, what can I get for it? I mean, it's...
Well, what were you hoping to get for it?
Well, I mean, you can see it, right? It's made of gold, so it has to be worth... I mean, kind of looks over his shoulder. Maybe this was a mistake. I mean, he kind of looks around.
No. It's fine. It's fine. Just, I was curious what you wanted for it, because I've never seen something like this before. So I was just thinking, 5 gold.
5 gold. He kind of speaks up for a moment. The way he kind of says it, it actually kind of draws the attention of other people in your shop.
No, don't. Yes, 5 gold.
No. 50, maybe. Not 5.
Would you take 30?
40.
35?
40.
38.
Yeah, fine. That's enough to get out of the city. Yes, okay. 38.
Okay. Deal. Hold on just one moment. And then she dips down underneath the counter in for like a minute and starts pulling out coins.
Okay.
And then eventually pops up with a bag and places it on the counter in front of him.
As you're down, right, trying to quickly make the countings, you'll hear the door swing open again. That same crashing sound. And as you kind of come up from beyond the counter, looking out in front of you, the figure that brought this piece to your shop is gone. You just see the last bit of their cloak as the door slams shut behind them and they make their exit, immediately sprinting away from the store. You kind of come up, you look around, you've got the bit of gold in hand, and the other hand you've got the small kind of golden statue. What do you do?
She is absolutely like dumbfounded. Like, he didn't take his money, and he didn't take his items, so she kind of just like leaves the statue on the counter for a second to go then put the bag of money like in a safe place for later, just in case he does come back.
Fair enough.
And then goes right to town trying to study the statue.
Okay. So You a bit confused by the situation, right? You set the money aside, and go back to looking statue. Takes a few moments, but somebody will kind of approach. They look about probably about middle-aged. An older man will kind of like step up to the counter. I think you missed something. I mean, I think that guy stole something from you.
Did he steal something?
Yeah, I mean, he kind of like turns and he points. Roll me a perception check.
Oh boy. Perception. There it is.
Ooh. So, you see, you have so much stuff in this shop, right? So many items that it's a bit tough to kind of keep consideration for everything, right? So, as you look to the point at the spot where this customer kind of points out, you can see there's definitely an open space. Something used to be there, but as you look and as you kind of think about it, fuck, you can't remember what was that. What was there? What did you have there on display? It takes you a few moments. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I was probably gonna say it was like a weird doll.
That could be your assumption, yeah. Maybe assume like, oh, maybe it was a weird type of doll thing. Something. Is Desiree the type of person that maybe consider it inconsequential? Especially now that they have something like this, right? Something that is completely new to you, something you've never seen before in your life. So, you kind of look to the spot. You wave it off like, whatever.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if he stole something and then left this, then I don't know. Maybe he's dumb. Whatever.
Fair enough. Okay. Yeah, the customer just kind of like looks at you like you're a little bit crazy. Like, what? You don't even care? But then they'll just kind of shrug their shoulders. Well, I told you. So, you go back, start to look, specifically studying this this one item left behind. Okay. All right. Ezra.
Mm-hmm.
As we leave the store, make our way through the city. In the middle of the day, where would somebody typically find Ezra? Out in the streets, at home? Where?
Well, she would either be on her way to one of her contractors or at home in her office.
Okay. So, sitting at home in the office, maybe looking over a few things, right? The most recent contract, the most recent job that's on your scheduled list, right? Things to take care of. Sitting in the office, looking over a few details. It seems this most recent one is going to be a bit tough, right? It's already looking at the information in front of you. You know this one is probably not going to pay anytime soon because these sorts of things, when people go missing and when they don't want to be found, it becomes very difficult to locate them, right? To do the job as requested. And you know the way it works is, right? You finish the job, you get paid. So you kind of sit maybe in a bit of disappointment looking over, knowing that it's, you got to find something else, something a bit more immediate, right? A bit more right now. Not something that'll, pay off weeks down the road, right? How is Ezra feeling? And if you could, give me a description of the character as they sit in their home office.
Sure.
Toiling over these papers.
So, the long and dark coat that you usually would wear outside is hanged over the back of a chair that she's sitting in. She's rather short, boyish-looking, white hair, and her skin really is also very pale, almost white as a sheet. Her eyes are sort of muddled dark, with her pupils shining like a bright yellow. She's wearing like mostly simple clothes that make her look a little refined, so that she doesn't look like some mess of the street. She's rather tall and sort of, but like almost has like a small sort of hunch to her, which comes from sitting at the desk like most of the time of the day. She is feeling restless, really.
Yeah.
She's been noticing the clouds coming in on Valdiras, and she has been trying to figure out a way to make these clouds work for her and her wife.
Absolutely. So, speaking of, there's a soft knock at the door. From the other side.
Yes?
Don't mean to disturb. As the door opens, and your wife steps in. If you could describe her, please.
Yes, so her wife, Undine, is quite a lot shorter than Ezra herself. She has long, sort of blondish hair. Her skin is also rather pale, but not quite as intensely so as Ezra's is. And she has dark eyes, sort of brown. And she looks really thin, and doesn't hold herself up well. You can sort of see that she is going around the house and doing things over the day, but you can really tell that she is sick.
Fair enough. Yeah. She kind of just open the door softly, kind of step inside.
Hello, love.
Kind of smiles. How you doing? You've been in here all day.
I know. I'm just trying to figure things out. All these odd contract jobs are not working out as well as I planned.
Well,
but you don't need to worry. I'll make it work. I always do.
Yeah. Just gonna step in a bit further, right? Kind of standing before the desk itself, kind of looking down the papers. This one seemed like a good one.
It seemed initially, but now I'm not so sure anymore.
Well, you should eat something. I mean, if you're gonna stow away in here, it's a bit of food would maybe help the thinking, right? The processes. Made a bit. If you wanna join me.
I'd love to.
All right.
And
So-
Ezra gets up and sort of puts her arm around Undine's shoulder and leads her almost out of the office to come join her to get something to eat.
So the table is already set, and as you approach, right, what she's made is it's a very simple meal, right? Like a very simple stew, not as full as it could be, but with the bit that you did have, it's well done for the level of the level of the ingredients available.
Yeah. And Ezra has always loved Undine's cooking anyways. So she really appreciates it, and as she goes to sit down and before they start she says, "Thank you as always, my love."
You have to eat. It's not good to, hold away and distract yourself from everything.
Yeah. And she's about to dig and start eating, and then just holds stops for a moment and seems to think, "What do you say if we go out for a walk later? Do you feel up to it?"
You see a bit of concern kind of cross her eyes. She kind of looks around a bit, specifically kind of looking to the bottom left, right? Then she'll kind of look back up. Maybe not tonight, but I think tomorrow. I mean, the rains seem to be drawing closer as well. Might be nice to, it's always nice when it rains.
Yeah. The air just smells differently somehow.
Yeah, water in the air. Maybe I can save my energy for that.
Yeah. Let's do that then.
Kind of smiles. Just as you're about to kind of dig in, there's a knock at the door. Heavy, official.
Ezra frowns and sort of looks over to Undine to see whether she's how she reacts to it, but immediately gets up and goes towards the door, sort of straightens herself a little and opens it.
So your wife doesn't really seem surprised, right? Well, maybe a bit shocked for the moment. It's been a while since you've had visitors, right? Since you've had somebody come over, right, knocking in such a manner, right? So your wife just kind of gives you a look and then but doesn't say anything, right? Doesn't have a look like, here it is again, right? Just kind of also maybe like you, a bit shocked by the sudden arrival of somebody. So as you go up, open the door, and as you pull it open, a familiar figure stands before you. It is not a figure that you would like to see. Jasper Hemlock stands there, squirrely kind of in nature. He looks at you like it is there is nothing between you, right? He gives you a look that's like an old friend, but you and Jasper have not been friends for quite some time.
Yeah.
So he kind of stands there, looks at you. He goes to say something, but if you would like to interject.
It's just sort of her frown deepens and she lets out a, "Jasper, what are you doing here?"
Ezra, I know my face is not one you wish to be seeing now, but the way things left off and how everything happened. I have to tell you though, can I come inside, or can I make me stand outside?
Yes, do come in. And she sort of steps aside and opens the passage.
Yeah, Jasper will kind of quickly step in. He doesn't step in too far. He takes a couple of steps forward, but he stays basically right where the door is for the most part. He kind of stands there, looks around a bit, and then
Ezra introduces Undine. That is my wife, Undine. I don't know if you remember her.
yes, he kind of sees her, and give me a perception check here.
Yes. I was almost going to roll my real dice by reflex. So how do I do this with
So
Foundry?
open up the character sheet.
Yes, I'm on that.
And you basically just click the number next to the check.
I don't know the checks.
It's on the left
Oh.
of your sheet.
I only have
Oh.
perception here and initiative.
Yeah.
Underneath where your AC is on your sheet.
Yes.
There's like a small little dice. Yeah, next to the eyeball.
But there's only it only stands for perception right here.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
but
is this for it's a professor. I'm just being stupid. Don't
It's
mind me. It is a perception check.
Perfect. 24. This is a bit maybe a bit bothersome, right? The look that you see on Jasper's face as he kind of looks at her, he sees the state that she's in, right? And you can read past. You can see that he's like being polite, but that he might have another opinion that he's not saying out loud, right? Kind of looks at her and he pleasure to meet you. Sorry to disturb your meal, and that just a few words to share. And he kind of turns and looks to you, Ezra.
Will this only be a short while? Otherwise, we can go to my office for a minute.
I think short. I mean, I don't want to intrude any longer, and well, with the way things left off.
Get to it.
Yeah. Well, there's no way to say this then. So I just have to. Kind of steps forward, maybe invading your personal space a little bit, and his voice drops down a bit lower. Ezra, she's out.
No,
She's out.
you're lying.
And I did what I could. Tried. You may or may not believe that. I know the way things left off, and the way things went, but
Like, you can immediately see Ezra's demeanor change. Like, she looks shocked, like frazzled almost, like sort of grabbing her face, like in disbelief. How? How did she get out?
it seems I don't know everything. Best I can tell you is that she had some leverage and some sort of a exchange. One went in, she got out. It's not good. Paperwork and this damned he is trying to find the words. This damned ink blot just found a way, I guess. So she's out.
I see. And her voice almost comes out only as a croak.
I know you and me are not in the best of states, but I just wanted you to know because I thought it was only fair with how everything happened. There's been word that the others have been called in as well. It's like things with her are going back to what they were. So,
I see.
I'm sorry. If there's any way I can help with, if you need to leave the city or, I just, whatever I can do.
I'll be checking our options.
Yeah. I think that's it for me then. He kind of looks around a bit. Takes a look at your wife specifically, right? Kind of holds his gaze there for a moment and then kind of looks back to you. Ezra, I'm sorry. And I'm gonna say, based on that perception check still, there's a bit of a sorry for both, and maybe one of them is a bit more insulting, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not only sorry for the way things got between the two of you, sorry for, how things ended, and also sorry for the state that your wife is in. But Jasper will kind of just, it's great to see you again, and if you need me, I still live where I've always lived, so anything I can do to help, just send word. I mean, things weren't always so, between us, right? There was a time. Sorry I didn't listen to you.
It's all right.
So, just kind of give you a nod. Look over to your wife. Sorry again for intruding. Hope you have a wonderful meal. And he will just kind of brush past you, open the door, and kind of.
Ezra opens the door, and as she does, she sort of stops for a moment and says,
Thank you, Jasper. I do mean it.
Kind of looks to you, sad eyes, right? As he kind of this strange act, right? To come here now, after everything, but kind of looks to you and stops for just a moment, kind of, looks at you eye to eye, and then just kind of gives a nod, doesn't say anything else, moves his way out, down, and gone from the steps of your home. So, just close the door afterwards, kind of turning, your wife just kind of giving you a bit of an inquisitive look, move away from here momentarily. So, okay. 1, 2. All right. Carlos. Things are going well for you, my friend. Come back across town. You're standing just outside, the usual locations where ink blots and scratchers alike, the many members of the 1,000 pages kind of congregate in this area. The numerous houses of law up and down the street, all around you. This air of, in some ways, superiority, right? The people who have gotten this profession, right? The people who are in such a good state. You've just done incredible work. You're new, right? It's It hasn't been long for you, but to have landed such a client, and I mean, they made it so easy. They provided all the paperwork. All you just had to do was be the one to file. It was just you. And as you sit there, a young partner, rather not partner, just a young inkblot at your desk. If you could, Carlos, describe your character visually and what they may be doing as they sit in victory.
Carlos is a man of moderately short stature. He is a recently qualified inkblot, and he bears some signs of the trade with the grey trousers and under jacket. However, he breaks from the norm and the tradition with a fairly bright sky blue over jacket and a brown bowler hat. He looks quite different and quite distinct from his peers. He's sat in a very casual manner. He has both feet up on the corner of the desk with the chair tipped back, and he's currently doodling an ornate pattern around a script that is in the middle of the piece of paper that he's doodling on. And on the script is his promissory note of payment, which he can go and collect.
Yes.
Very pleased.
Absolutely. Very pleased with yourself. I mean, such an easy job. You didn't have to do any of the hard work. I mean, you've studied, right? You've spent time. I mean, it was no easy. It was not difficult to. Sorry, my words are completely confused now. Sorry, I'm reading something and it threw my wording off. No easy task, right? To do what you have done, to accomplish what you have accomplished, right? Becoming an inkblot in the city of Valdiras is no simple feat. A lot of study, a lot of hard work has been done on your end, and you know, even though the attitude that you have maybe maybe the demeanor and the attitude that you have is not so fitting of the station, right? The others that are around you do not tend to have that, you know, the confidence to wear a sky blue jacket and a brown hat, you know. But even still, you knew that once you got into the business and once you started, you know, working, it would still be even more difficult than whatever schooling and everything else had been. So, to find yourself in this position now, this IOU, right? You know, how many gold coins does that IOU say, Carlos? How much are you owed for such a wonderful task?
It was like a gift horse.
Yeah.
You know, normally the sort of clients that Carlos pick up would be able to scrape together maybe 5 gold pieces for some very minor representation. This job was a 60 gold piece job. See, you know, for his status as just coming out, that's unheard of.
Absolutely, yeah. 60 gold pieces. I mean, that's not anything to scoff at. For any other, you know, fresh out of school inkblot, I mean, except those with the obvious connections to put themselves in a perfect place, right, perfect time from the very start. For somebody of your station, right, to have made it where you are now, 60 gold pieces. I mean, oh, that is, and the work was so easy. Just, you know, take these papers, file them, you know, ensure that they are brought to the appropriate guild members' hands, and yeah, everything else would fall into place. It just had to be the official work of a licensed, registered Inkwell. So as you said, a look, you know, 60 gold pieces coming soon to you. You know, kind of hold the paper in your hand. Take you a few moments as you're kind of sitting there, staring, thinking about the many ways you're going to spend this gold. I mean, you know, what's the first thing that comes to mind for Carlos?
Well, Carlos is going to eat.
Ah, a good meal. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
And he's gonna get himself into a bar, one of the nicer bars, not the nicest bars. No, you know, he's only got, you know, there's no way he'd be letting in one of those. But he's gonna start networking.
Oh yeah. Fair enough. Yeah, you go on down. You take that 60 gold piece. IOU essentially, right? Make your way down. That's one of the players did.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, it was so good. I almost banned it too. Yeah. So perfect. So as you are, thinking, and as you put the rest of your stuff away. I mean, it's been a hard enough day's work. You've made plenty of money. Anything else you've got left to do can be wait till tomorrow, right? It's time to make your way down. You know, get the gold that you are, you've earned, and start to make those connections, right? No better time than the present. So as you stand up, right, you gather the rest of your things, a small briefcase of some sort, right? Gather your things, and you start to make your way off in the direction. We've got a meeting set up, to collect on the 60 gold pieces. The client that initially approached you, right? I mean, you remember them as Luca. What's the name? So, you head on down. You're set to meet them at one of the nicer establishments. So as you start to make your way there, you look up the sky, you see the darkened clouds overhead, not overhead, sorry, in the distance, but you hear the rumble of the thunder and lightning. Start to make your way, you can smell the moisture in the air. I mean, it is clear to you now. If you could, how does Carlos feel about the rain? And the rains in general, I should say.
You mean the sort of like the break in the application of the law on the citizenry?
Yeah, absolutely.
Carlos thinks it's great.
Think it's great.
Even though the iron rods are, well, one, it pisses the iron rods off, and he can see that they tense, that they don't like it, and they've just got to let it go. But just foreshadowing and looking forward, he knows grudges are going to be created. Grudges will lead to business in his line of work.
Fair enough.
He looks at this as the start of a prosperous period.
Fair enough. Let me see something. So, all right. So, make your way down. You are headed to the Bronze Fox. This is a drinking tavern. It doesn't have rooms or anything like that. And this is one of the more well enjoyed, at least by inkblots and scratchers alike. You know, they'll make their way here. This is the best place to drink, to spend time, to share word, and knowing that upon completion of this business you'd have 60 gold pieces in your pocket. What better place to settle your affairs and, you know, finish up with the client. You get your gold, and then you can immediately just go into working, right? Looking to build out that portfolio and maybe make some connections on other sources of law. You know, that's the way to get around, right? That's how you make it as an inkblot. You know, you've gotta have the appropriate connections. You've got to be able to, you know, sell yourself doing all the work, even though, you know, most of the time you'll be freelancing a bit of it out, right? Just to cover more ground. And so, head on down to Bronze Fox. More cheerful mood, right? Should make your way. Occasional rumbling of thunder overhead. And you can see people in the streets all kind of, you know, keeping an eye on the approaching storm. You know, talking amongst each other, like, you know, do you really think it'll rain this year? I mean, it's been about 5 years, right? So surely we're due. This is the kind of talk. But you make your way to the Bronze Fox. You enter on in. All around, sharply dressed, you know, inkblots. All kind of various locations along the tavern. Sitting at the bar, drinking their fill. And in the corner, the client that first approached you, specifically about this job, kind of looks up, looking to catch your eye from across the room. Doing so, they'll call you forward.
Okay, and assuming Carlos can't miss it.
Oh yeah. You immediately see it. Make your way over. And so as you kind of
He comes forward, Carlos will tip his brown bowler and somewhat extravagantly pull the chair back and swing his leg wide over and sit down. Then raise his hand, click his fingers, say, "A drink!" I imagine nobody actually pays him any attention, but he'll do it all the same.
Yeah, nobody pays you attention. There's too much business at the bar, right? If you want a drink, you gotta go get it yourself, right? Nobody's gonna bring it to you here. But so, yeah, a drink. The client that you know as Luca Santori kind of gives you a look. He's a bit bigger, human, wide at the shoulders. He is wearing a very well kind of to-do, tailored, like suit of some sort, right? He's got a large kind of cloak thrown over his shoulders that kind of hangs down. And he kind of sits there. He's a bit younger, maybe in his, you know, mid to late 20s. Kind of looks over at you. It is done then. Everything has been taken care of.
Aye. Yeah, it's just gone through.
Perfect. I've gotten word that she is to be released, and she is will be free shortly. Cannot thank you enough Mr. Ortega. It is, right?
Well, yeah, some may call me that name, and you can as well. That's fine. Well, call me Carlos.
Carlos. Okay. He kind of smiles. Well then, this is only fair then. And he'll pull out a small pouch and kind of set it on the table with the weight behind it. I mean, you assume that this is your 60 gold pieces.
And without waiting, Carlos will start reaching towards it.
He kind of, Luke will kind of reach over and kind of place his hand over it for a moment, like to stop you for a second. You know, if you're, well, now that she's out and now that our family is back in, in high regard, we may be looking for a more full-time, inkblot, somebody practicing the law, such as a person like yourself. Does that sound, maybe if we patron you? Would that be
Hell
something
yeah.
you'd be into? Yeah?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, put me on a retainer. That's
Yeah.
You know what? You will be. Further notice, you will be my prime client.
Perfect. Well, that's great. You've done incredible work here. Really couldn't have been done without you. So he'll move his hand away from the pouch, and you'll be free to reach over and take it. So as you kind of grab, does Carlos immediately check the pouch?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. You immediately open up the pouch, right? Kind of look through. You've got 60 gold coins.
I mean, this is it. He's not just going to weigh it. He's going to have a quick finger through. And
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
He's never seen 60 gold pieces all in
Absolutely.
one place before.
Not in one place. Yeah. Fair enough. And so, 60 gold pieces. Wow. Just like that. You've got it. Right in your hand. Well then, Luca will kind of say and push himself back and kind of stand up, brushing himself off as he looks around. Pleasure doing business with you. He'll reach out his hand for yours.
Carlos will extend his hand forward and give him a professional handshake with a smile on his face.
Enjoy the evening.
Oh, I will.
We'll be in contact.
You do that.
Yeah. He turns, throwing the kind of coat, across his shoulders, and as he stands kind of tall, the coat that he's wearing is a really dark fur. You can only assume that it's possibly bear fur, right? This large coat, a bit too heavy for a region like this, right? It's it might be raining soonish, but it's still warm here, right? But just a weird observation. He kind of looks to you, gives you a single nod, and just kind of turns and makes his exit, leading up to the door of the Bronze Fox, kind of opening it, stepping out, and that is the last you see of Luca Santori for the time being. So, having been paid, the client is now gone. But what does Carlos get up to? He immediately just start schmoozing at the bar, so to speak.
Yeah, Carlos is going to approach the bar, and he's looking to buy the most extravagant drink Not talking strong drink, just the most extravagant, showy drink that the bar has that isn't ridiculously expensive.
Wait, what? So you want the most? You want the most?
He wants the most extravagant looking drink. I think he's gonna go and negotiate for a blue drink in a long glass with lots of fruit in it and one of those little umbrellas that opens. Does it sound familiar?
Sounds familiar, yes.
He wants something that will be noticed.
Absolutely. Yeah, a blue drink. Very much like the blue of your jacket. Yeah,
Yes.
you've got this. You got the drink, and it's served to you. And an attractive woman kind of looks over. This drink is going to cost you 3 gold pieces, which is
fine.
Yeah, for a drink. Oh man. But still, 3 gold pieces. She kind of looks to you, looks you up and down, right? Eyeing you. She'll kind of lean forward and she'll say to you, business seems to be going well for you.
Oh, this is just a normal day for me, but we settled the case. Everybody's happy. I'm happy. I got paid.
You always celebrate with drinks like this.
Well, I'm slumming it a bit today, but it's. I've just met with a client. I don't want to be too showy, They're happy, but they've paid me. I don't want to be too showy in front of the client.
Yeah, and it's always best to be modest, wherever it allows. She'll kind of lean in, and we'll move away from the scene. So, last but not least, come around town. Walking through the street, the storm drawing ever closer, the thunder rolling overhead now, right? Breaks through. We see a red tiefling making their way mostly in the direction of a familiar friend's shop, but in this moment, Azazel, if you could describe your character for me, please.
So walking through the street, you see hood up, but with my horns curled back, bright red. They won't go over. The hood won't go over them. You see a bright red tiefling dressed in dark browns, leathers, cloth clothing, all with a kind of bit dirty. Not the cleanest of boys. Looks a bit rough and tumble. Wearing a metal breastplate, all of his clothes kind of hidden by a forest green cloak. Looks like he probably wants to keep to himself. Doesn't like peering eyes, being in a city with humans. Being a bright red tiefling kind of stands out. Just trying to make his way to an odd antique shop as quickly as possible.
How long has Azazel been in the city of Valdiras? Well enough to know that you are, you're aware of the iron rods and the brands and,
Yeah. I feel like I've been there a year or so.
About a year or so. Okay.
Yeah.
So, comes as no surprise, though, to you then, as you make your way down and somebody rudely steps in your path, purposely throwing their shoulder into yours, right? Giving you a bit of a knock, right? Kind of turns you in place as you bump into each other. This larger oaf of a man kind of looks back at you, kind of gives you a disgruntled look, and just kind of spits at the floor in your direction. Watch where you're walking.
Little shit. I got mutter. Yeah, English. I mutter under my breath, just like giving him a stare. Trying to get a good look at his face, though.
Oh yeah. You look close. Everything about him just says like some sort of labor worker. He's big at the shoulders, big at the arms, hands. Very, very. He's got a lot of extra weight on him, to say the least, right? But the strong kind of extra weight, right? Just looks like a big kind of oaf. The hands are large and kind of thick from long days' work. The clothing that he's wearing looks like any factories, not factory, but any kind of like a blacksmithing shop clothing, right? The shirt is drenched yellow and black, like sooty from sweat and smoke. The fabric itself, I mean, you can almost see through the fabric, basically. It's so thin. And just, yeah, the typical kind of boots and pants that one would wear when hanging around extremely hot instruments. But the face, as you get a look at the face, roll me a perception check here.
That
14?
Yeah.
You see the face. You see the scar that runs from one side down to the other, looking as if it had split the lip, but the lip is kind of refused and healed. That's very out of place. Rather, not out of place, but a very distinct quality of this person. So you remember the face, and if you see it again in the future, you'll surely recognize it.
Mm-hmm.
And it just kind of gives you a look. What are you gonna do?
Just keep walking.
Huh.
Like I am a scrawny twink of a tiefling, and I will not be able to take this guy. But he's the kind of person who would try and remember that face, maybe in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you keep walking. Yeah. You hear called from over your shoulder. The large lumbering figure just kind of gets back on their path. So, after that rude experience, that's not the first time for you though, Azazel. You've had to. This city, Valdiras especially, just does not like, non-humans, it would seem. Tieflings, right? You've seen it in others and experienced it yourself. I mean, fuck, are people rude here when they want to be? They're also very nice, when they want to be as well. That hangs. But either way, the rains are coming. You have not yet had a chance to experience this city during the rains, and so as you kind of look up, another rolling, thunderous sound crosses the sky. How do you feel about it?
I imagine he's seen rain before, but in a dry place like this, he's probably just looking up thinking, I wish it would just hurry up and get it over with.
Yeah. The significance to the city.
Finds it a bit odd, but I guess local custom.
Yeah, exactly. Strange local custom, right? No weirder than possibly other local customs you've experienced in your time and your travels. But
taking it in your stride, basically.
Absolutely. Make your way down, and you see a figure bursting from Desiree's shop, rushing away. They burst out. They're about 100 feet in front of you, and they immediately book it, running away from you. Right, so they're not coming to you. They're rushing down that way. You see the door to Desiree's shop. She'll kind of swing in momentarily before, the slam from behind and all of that just kind of brings it to a shut. Did you see the figure rush out? Go ahead.
I was gonna say, does he rush out as if, like a thief, like he's concealing something, he's in a hurry? Or does he just rush off like, oh, I gotta go catch? I'm late for something.
Yeah, let's try another perception check. Let's see how it works in regards to this. Is you kind of get a look at them to see if they're like, they look like they're stealing, or if they look like what's going on with them.
I feel like, because I know the shop owner, if I see someone hurrying out like clutching something, I'll go, that's a thief, fucking get them.
Yeah.
But if someone's just late, well, that's another 14.
Another 14 rush. Rough. 2 back-to-back 7 rolls. As you make your way out, as you look and as you see the figure makes its way out and kind of looks around for a few moments and then running away, you clock a little bit of strange activity, but you don't see them carrying anything. You can see their arms freely kind of hanging down. So if they had anything in hand, I mean, it would have been clutched in their hand, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you don't see anything on their person. They just kind of step out. They swing their head left and right like they're, giving the quickest pass, look around possible, and then they are running away.
Well, when you gotta go, you gotta go. And I just walk into the shop.
All right, yeah. So you see the figure rush through, kind of push a few people out of the way as they disappear into the crowd further down. You make the rest of the distance between you and Desiree's shop and make your way inside. Sitting at the counter is Desiree, who's kind of currently looking over a strange object in hand. As you make your way in, you see your friend across the room.
Hey. D, I'm back.
Zilly, welcome back.
Go up to the counter. I got what you wanted.
Oh, did you?
And I'll pull out some old gold disc of a trinket.
She immediately swipes it out of your hand and starts looking it over.
I'm dumbfounded. Like, yep, that sounds about right.
Where did you get this? Where? Who? What? How? Why? How?
You know I can't tell you where I get my shit.
Why don't you?
Because that's for me to know and for you to find out.
Please.
As I what? Do you still have free coffee?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna go get a drink.
She points you to a little like a little coffee pot off to the side off the counter.
Nice. Pull out a little hip flask and pour a tiny bit into the coffee, making it Irish.
Okay, so what do I owe you for this one?
It's really hard to come by, so at least 200 gold. As I smile, shit-eating grin.
Does it have to be 200?
Oh, you can pay me in installments, since you're such a good friend.
Yeah, that's fair. Plus, you know I'm good for it, so.
Mm-hmm. Sip.
So, anything special about this one that I should know about?
He just shrugs. I just get him. You tell me that.
So, as you take a look at this new item that's been brought to your attention by your, I guess, closest friend in the city, right? The two of you experience, I mean, the two of you are both new to the city, right? So both of you are experiencing a lot of the same growing adjustments to living in a city like this, right? This is not new. Sorry, this is yeah, maybe you've come to know each other and maybe bonded through that experience, right? It's not an easy city to settle in, right? It's not easy to earn a living here whatsoever. So the fact that Desert has been able to, establish this shop as to have been able to do all of those things, and for you to now have a contract and a way to make some money yourself, it's a very, very fortunate situation to find yourself in. But so you sip as you tip in something a little extra, right, into your coffee, Azazel. You take a sip and kind of look around. Interior of the shop doesn't look to be in any bad state. You're familiar, right? You've been in the shop a number of times, so for you, all is almost as it usually is. Something sticks out to you. Something is wrong as you look around the shop. Something is off, not right. Can't quite place it directly. You're looking at the things on display, here and there, what have you. It something occurs to you that there's something off here.
Should I try another perception?
What would you do? Yeah, what do you like to do?
Just look around, coffee in hand, just trying to think to myself, what's, quietly in the corner. Also trying to keep an eye on the people that are, like, mulling around, too. Don't want no troublemakers in here. Come on, let's see if we can get higher than a 7. Oh my god! Nope.
So.
Nope!
Yeah.
Oh, that's a great start.
Something's weird. Something's off. But you can't quite place it. Fuck. Right. You just
shrug it off.
Yeah, just kind of shrug it off. Maybe Desiree's kind of moved some things around recently. Nothing crazy. So. Moving away. Virgil. Finished up the task. You have settled, the business. You've let the prisoner go free as they wished. So you're done, right? You can get the cart back to the guardhouse of your the local area that you work in, and all is settled. You are back on the beat, right? Back on walking around, ensuring safety and justice in the city of Valdiras, right? So, is Virgil thinking anything about that interaction earlier with the prisoner, letting him go, and
Virgil's just frustrated.
Yeah.
Yeah, he knows what she's going to be up to, and he knows that she managed to get away with it. She's going to be carrying on doing the same things again.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the way the system works. It's not for him to get involved with. He just does his job.
Absolutely. As you are settling in the wagon, look around. You see a small slip of paper. bit strange for you. It is been left in the back of the wagon, right?
In the cage.
In the cage, exactly. You go in, right, and typically what you do is just kind of, whenever you settle it back in, right, you just kind of give it a sweep, right, and then you're back on the job.
Mm-hmm.
As you're doing so, there's a small slip. You grab it, and the last thing that you expect to see written on this paper is indeed yet written there. Name of your brother. The location where he works. His details. Essentially, his business card, so to speak. Left in the back of this cage. You can see it's kind of folded. Basically like right in the middle, right? You know, like you're gonna fold something and just throw it to the ground. But you unfold it and you look at it. What's Virgil thinking?
It's not a name he'd expected to see. Is anyone else in the room with Virgil?
No, you look around. This is an area that is mostly avoided, right?
Mm-hmm.
Tends to be that if you're caught around here, you're made to do some shit around here, right? Clean out the pens, right? For the horses, all that shit. So a lot of people keep clear here.
Is the address on the card within the patch of territory that Virgil patrols?
It would not be. Virgil tends to work a bit poorer side of town.
Mm-hmm.
The address that's on there is workplace, so you know it's basically in the heart of where all of the business and law of the city finds itself, right? All of the various houses of the 1,000 pages.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah.
So, see that slip of paper?
He would take the slip of paper and carefully fold it back up and put it into the evidence pouch, I guess you could call it, that he carries just on his hip, just, you know, in a little pocket on his hip.
All right.
A movable pouch.
Yeah, is it what was the word for it?
Not a fixed pouch.
It's not a fixed pouch. Yeah.
It's a movable pouch.
A portable pouch.
Portable pouch.
Portable
exactly.
pouch. So
Not an unportable pouch.
Yeah. Yeah, you put it in the portable pouch on your hip.
Mm-hmm.
And you set off. The rest of your day is fairly unexciting, you know, fairly boring, so to speak. It's just walking around.
Sorry, I should just before we set off, just before I carry on my patrol, can I just have a look up at the sky and see, does it look like it's going to rain imminently, or?
Yeah, as you look up at the sky, I mean, fuck, it is drawing so close. But in the past, you've seen it draw just this close and yet still not rain. It rained on the outskirts of the city, right? It rained all around, but it never really rained in the city. And you've seen it get this close before. It got this close last year and it didn't rain. But as you look up now, trying to gauge whether or not it'll be raining soon, it's hard to tell.
Yeah.
What does your gut tell you?
My gut tells me we need to keep these fires lit. So we're going to need them.
Fair enough. So, kind of look up, take it all in, and then continue your patrol for the rest of the time. Uneventful, right? It's the same old thing. When people see you, they go quiet. You are relatively well known in your part of the city. You've been around for a while. However that feels, because it possibly can't feel good. And people know you to be a bit difficult. Right? You're not the. You won't let a thing slide the way others might, right?
Yeah.
And so, as you find yourself on patrol, up ahead are two children essentially fighting, right? Throwing punches at each other. I mean, they are having a scuffle in the street, and they are not backing down. Right. Up until this moment, everything has been quiet. Something like this. Not sure how it feels, but as these two urchins, young teens, probably 15, 16, maybe a bit older teens, right? Almost to the point where this type of stuff has major consequences, but maybe not there just yet. Although, I guess it depends on how you approach it. As you see these two street urchins kind of going at each other, what does Virgil do?
Unhooks the iron rod from his waist.
Okay, unhook it.
Starts walking towards it.
Okay, so as you start to take heavy steps, iron rod in hand, they immediately kind of look at you in surprise, and whatever issue they had between them is done for, right? They just kind of stop and take a few steps back. We'll stop. We'll stop.
Just keep walking towards them. Can I just look around? What's the situation like around them?
Yeah, there's not that many people around. Pretty clear streets. Whatever ruckus they were having is between the two of them, right? But and so as they kind of stop and they put some space between each other, to kind of show you that everything is, it's all right. One of them will kind of speak up. We're just playing around. It wasn't anything serious, sir. Please.
Code 2, Section 2. Assault of a citizen witnessed by a member of the judiciary. And the sentence is brand. I just grab hold of whichever one I can.
Okay, you grab a hold of them. These are street urchins. They're not very well fed. They don't have, 16, 17-year-old. They kind of like, please, sir, please. We're just playing around. It wasn't serious.
Grab him by, grab by the scruff of the neck or the hair, kick his leg out from underneath him so that he's on his knee in front of me.
Okay, you could kind of toss them down. You don't have the brazier. How do you intend to inflict the brand?
Smack him hard on the cheek.
Oh, okay. Oh.
Do the job.
Fair enough. Yeah, you beam him across the jaw, right? Yeah. It does well enough to imprint, right?
Mm-hmm.
Thankfully, though, in this case, it won't be permanent, but it'll be. Yeah. They'll see it for at least a couple of weeks.
They won't forget.
Yeah. So they kind of grab at their jaw. They're slumped over, bleeding from their mouth, right? Sorry. Won't happen again. They just kind of called up. Thank you. They appreciate that you have not branded them truly. The other one is, while you were busy with this one, the other one's just split, right? So, kind of grab at the jaw, spitting out blood.
Tell your friend I know his face.
I think he knows. Thank you again. Kind of like just pull himself to his feet and just like, look to move away and clear the streets before you. So things settle in. Once you're finished with your route, what does Virgil Ortega intend to do?
He would go back to the guardhouse.
All right, finish up. when finished with the shift, I should say, right?
Yeah. When he's
Completed
finished
with
with his shift. Yeah, when he's finished with his shift. He'd like to try and speak to the patrol commander, you know, the guy that's in charge of the guardhouse.
Okay, yeah. So you go over, essentially looking to speak to your boss, who,
speak to my manager.
yeah, strangely enough, he is he's younger than you, right? Kind of looks up. Ortega. He's seated at his desk. You know.
Sir, do you have a minute?
Yeah. What can I help you with?
The clouds are drawing closer, sir. I'm sure you've noticed.
Yes.
I've just been out on patrol on my own again. This is the second time this week I've been out without a brazier. 2 boys fighting on the street got away without a brand, sir. We need to double the men. We need to get more men out on the streets. We need to keep these braziers lit at all times, sir.
Well, if it were so easy, you know, I'd have no problems with it, but we have to make do with what we have. Unfortunately, our resources are not an inexhaustible well. So, for you, it's a fight, but it kind of looks at you. You think they really deserve to be branded for that?
They broke the law, sir. And they got away without their just punishment.
Yeah. I'll see what I can do, but as it is now, just have to do and hold the line where we can.
Virgil grinds his teeth at that, but he doesn't say anything.
You know, you've done the job. You've done the job long enough. That's a little bit of a jab. Yeah.
Yeah. He again just grinds his teeth, sets his jaw a little bit, and just nods.
But I'll send word up to upper command. We'll get you all the help we can get.
Thank you, sir. Things are getting restless out there. They know something's coming.
Yeah, I think we've done well to avoid the rains the past couple of years, but I don't think we're going to be so lucky much further.
Thank you for your time, sir.
Virgil.
Sir?
That prisoner transport. How did it go?
Uneventful, sir.
Yeah? What about the drop-off? It's a lot more focus here, right?
Just another scumbag dropped off, sir. Under no illusions that she'll carry on doing exactly what it was that she was doing before. I'm sure we'll see her again.
Yeah. You're, you know, he kind of leans in. Where it is. Your brother had a hand in that one. You know, I guess the two of you are cut from a wholly different cloth.
You could say that, sir.
He's fighting against us, not with us. Oh well. You're not like that, though.
Is there a problem, sir?
No. It's who that person is. Just brings us more problems, yeah? All of us. At the street level.
Who was she, sir?
She is Octavia Santori. You can roll me a society check here.
Oh, now I remember. Brilliant.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Not only do you remember, you were there when they took this figure in. Maybe the whole time that they stood in the back, right, waiting, the whole time that they were speaking to you, maybe that whole time that there was a bit of a scratch in the back of your mind, right? The way they poked and prodded at you. But you've taken in, you know, plenty of criminal scum, right? So they all just kind of bleed into the next. But with this one, as you hear the name specifically, right? Seeing them, seeing the number of people that they had waiting for them.
What was the name? Sorry, Trill.
Octavia Santori.
Could you spell that out for me?
Yeah, I'll shoot it in the Monday group. So,
Thanks.
and so, yeah, that name rings a bell. You remember, you yourself, with a number of others of the Iron Rods, many Iron Rods died the day you went to collect this person. There was an all-out brawl, all-out fight as you stormed the headquarters of the Santori crime syndicate. The families...
It's Block War, man. It's Block War.
Yeah. Yeah. So to hear this name now, set free, right? I mean, this person is responsible almost directly, you know, depending on the point of view you have on it, with numerous Iron Rod deaths, and yet they were traded for whoever that individual was that was trying to talk to you, right? Tell you that something was wrong there, right? That whole thing. How could that, you know?
Virgil loses his composure a little bit more at that. Sir, she was released.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know how many men we lost to try and bring her in?
Trust me, I'm well aware. Yeah, your brother did a great job with this one.
She gets away without even a brand.
No brand. Nothing.
Sir, I repeat my request. We need brazier bearers out on the streets. We need a show of force. This woman cannot be allowed to just abscond and laugh in the face of our laws.
I know. You know, you were requested to make that drop off, right?
By who, sir?
Just what I was told. Make sure to get you on the job.
Is that all? Is that all, sir?
That's all.
Thank you for your time.
Mm-hmm. So, make your way out. You're finished with your shift. So, what does Virgil Ortega do when he is not working?
He'll go back to his quarters.
All right. Head on in. Sit down. Just think things over.
Yeah, he'll lock the door. What? Is it communal quarters or is it individual?
I would say it's individual. Yeah.
Okay. He'll lock his door and he'll take the barbed helmet off, rest it on the side.
All right. What does Virgil Ortega look like with his helmet off?
Can I hold that for now?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Sit down.
Yeah.
Fume.
Take the folded card out of his pocket
Yeah.
and just stare at it for a little while.
Yeah.
See, hasn't seen that name, hasn't seen that face in a very long time.
Yeah. So, sit with it, staring at that card, that name,
Mm-hmm.
imagining what that face would look like now, after all these years.
Yeah, he remembers the boy.
Hmm.
Just.
Fair enough. So, sit. You hear outside the window small droplets of rain begin to crest down on the city. So, Ezra, after the meeting with, or after the brief conversation, being informed on her release, right? Hemlock coming by, saying his sorries. After you've enjoyed a wonderful dinner with your wife, and as you sit awake, the evening has started to come. Just outside the window, you can see the first droplets of what could be rain. So, what does Ezra do?
So I imagine that she's been like, if she was restless before, thinking about like the opportunity that the rain might bring. Now she's almost feeling choked with a sort of panic that she's trying to keep down, with the
Yeah.
knowledge that Octavia Centauri has been released. And like she kept her composure until like after the dinner, and Dean had lied down and was going to rest for the night.
Mm-hmm.
And like after that, she would have gone to her office again, and instead of working on the files and the contract work that she was doing, she's going through her old things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like finding what she the notes she took and whatnot about the time when she met Octavia.
Yeah. The notes, the work, right?
Yeah.
Your part in what you thought would be, her ultimate downfall. The lives that were taken. I mean, surely after that, she would never see the light of day again. And yet still, Jasper came to your door, serious as ever. Right? Like he had seen a ghost himself, and delivered this news to you now. And as you look through all those things, some memories of it all. Yeah, you see, I mean, you have everything saved, right?
Yeah. And like what she's like trying to find is who who could have made that loophole? Who's responsible for this?
Yeah, looking around, what could have been the catalyst of her release? It's very difficult to know. You can give me Okay, yeah. Roll me no. I'll say this is not, you don't have to make a roll for this. As you look through, you remember a few of the individuals that worked with her. Those of her own family, right? And as you kind of think things through, the one that got away, the one that was not arrested and probably just as complicit in all of the crimes that she committed. Brother, Luca Santori. As you kind of go through, maybe you even have you have it written, right? You see the name. Maybe it was an old missive of, like, that you were told, right? Told to do something, not necessarily by Octavia, but by the brother, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you see the name, you can only assume that, safely at the very least, that if the news is true, if she truly is out and free, he must have played a part.
Ezra curses herself for not being more thorough back then.
He was gone. There was even a rumor that maybe he had been killed, right? Maybe that Octavia had killed him. So maybe he didn't think much of it, but now as you see the name, maybe that was the fatal loose end that now has led to this moment.
Yeah. And Ezra's sure that she has to do something about this. And she's like trying to come up with something, and she will stay up late into the night past the start of the rain and just sit in her office and devise a plan. Or try, at least.
So you sit, the window to your office open, late into the evening, sitting by candlelight, right? The light of the storm outside rolling. The rain, which was initially just a trickle, now falls heavily. You sit with this in your office for as much time as you can, just racking your brain for any possible chance, anything you could do to right this one wrong from your past. So as you stay with it, still considering, move away. Azazel and Desiree. Two of you have been in the shop. You've had a fair amount of coffee. You've spiked it with as much as you're gonna spike it. The rest of the day kind of rolls in, right? Not too eventful. The customers come and go. Nobody really buys anything. This really seems to be a place where people really want to sell for the most part, right? They try to come in and hawk whatever items that they can that are, they proclaim to be of occult nature or not. But almost the vast majority of it is not worth anything, right? And so the frustration of this position is all the times that you have to, push someone away when they're desperate for a little bit of gold, something to turn, in their mind, their life around if they can. And so as the day kind of goes through, and the rain starts to fall. First droplets, and then sprinkle, and then finally a downpour. Azazel and Desiree, the first time for the two of you to be in the city of Valdiras when the rains come. What are you doing?
I would think Desiree would get out from behind the counter and go up to the window that's on the front of the shop. And then just look out through it at the rain as it starts to pour out.
Yeah, you're watching.
In total fascination.
Absolutely, and there are people out in the streets just allowing the water to flood over them, right? Just this downpour just soaking them all through their clothing. People are in a festive and good mood, right? They are all kind of standing out, looking up as if they are worshiping some sort of sky god, right? That has brought them rain as they've needed it for so long. But it's just, it's just rain. And yet still, the people are coming out in numbers, out and into the streets, standing, allowing the rains to wash over them. Azazel, as Desiree is, taken in by this moment and watching. What are you doing?
I'm just gonna wander over behind, just watching in fascination with them, just like, God, these people are weird.
Mm-hmm.
Should we join them?
Probably. Don't want to stand out more than I do. Come on.
Plus, I think it'd be fun.
So.
Yeah, sure. It's just like, you go native.
And then immediately, she just
get dragged out.
Goes right through, like right out the window, or not out the window, out the door. What am I saying?
You just smash through the window.
Yeah, no, right through the door, like.
All right. Yeah. So you open the door. You don't have any customers inside. It's just you and Azazel, anyways, right? And so as you step out, do you lock the door behind you?
Yes.
Okay. You lock the door to your shop. You step out into the streets, right? People all around, all kind of, laughs, smilings, are sitting there talking with each other, enjoying this moment for whatever it is. And it's a strange thing, if you've been where rain commonly, it's something like this is a strange sight. These people just standing outside, allowing themselves to be soaked through by the cold water that falls from the sky. So as the two of you join them, Desiree in a festive or positive mood, where Azazel a bit more confused by the whole situation, but, not wanting to leave their friend solo to doing it, right? The two of you step out, right? And I need the two of you to give me perception checks. As you make your way out and the water starts to rush over the two of you.
That's all I've done this session. Looking. Wow!
Oh, man.
The difference.
Yep,
yeah.
There's the extremes. Yeah.
Desdi, I mean, you're taken in by the rain, and you've got your eyes up to the darkened sky above, and the water is just washing over you. But Azazel,
see through her glasses.
Yeah. Azazel, for you though, you hear something. A sound that cuts through the rain for you in particular. Perks your ear. You think you hear somebody scream. And you turn your head and you look into that direction. All you see is alleys.
Do I know what how do I put this? What kind of person the scream came from? Like, is it female, male, young, old? Male, yeah, male, female.
Hard to tell in the rain, but certainly of fright and not excitement.
but I know the direction.
Yes, absolutely.
I'm gonna just wander towards there cautiously.
You start to walk over, right? So you start to make your way down this alley, and as you reach the end, I mean, it goes in two separate directions. And the way you've heard it, I mean, you look to your left, you look to the right. To the right, there's an immediate dead end. There's a gathering of boxes and crates of some sort, all kind of stacked together. But down at the left, you see a dark figure, silhouetted, just lightened by what little light there is left in the sky. This dark figure with their back to you, and they are leaned up against the stone wall of one side of the alley. They're wearing a large, dark cloak.
So I have a dagger.
Yeah.
I stow it on my belt, so at the back of me.
Mm-hmm.
I'll instinctually put one hand on the hilt
Fair
and
enough.
walk slowly over. My other hand just reach out, like, is there a problem here? You okay? Like, going to, like, pat them on the shoulder.
Oh, so you start to get closer. You've got your hand behind your back, just holding on to the blade of the dagger. And as you slowly start to get closer, as you reach out, you're starting to reach out, like to grab them onto the shoulder, right, to see what has happened here. They turn before you get a chance, right? You're still reaching out, but as they turn, you see left in their body is a rapier fully pushed into their stomach. You can see the hilt of the blade and just a little bit that wasn't pushed all the way in. And as they turn, you can see they look at you and they're pale in this moment. On the right side of their face, they have what looks to be a brand, a bit of facial hair. The cloak is kind of pushed back out of their face. They kind of look to you, and they look to you in excitement, like worried in this moment. And they reach out with their hand, and they ask you, could you help me, please? And as they reach out and try to grab a hold of your shoulder, they lose their footing and they kind of fall onto their ass in this alley, right? Their back to the stone wall. Desiree, while this is happening, the whole time you've just been kind of lost in this moment of rain, right? Looking around you. And then you look around you and you see, like, wait, you're alone. Where's Azazel? You kind of give a look over your shoulder. Where could he have gone off to? And you see this alleyway is closest to you. But then, you look around and you see the streets as they are. Don't see him, heading off in any specific direction. But before you get a chance to do anything, Azazel, as this figures, go ahead.
Yeah, as he stumbles forward, I just want to try and catch him. Like, I immediately see the rapier in his stomach and let go of my, he's no threat. He's got a sword in his fucking stomach.
Yeah.
And as he stumbles, I just try and, catch him, just so he doesn't, knock his head against the pavement.
Mm-hmm.
And just, as a body just goes down, just kind of get him comfortable, kind of put my hand where the wound is, just oh shit.
Okay, yeah. And so he
Just
kind of leans on you.
Fuck.
Yeah, he leans on you. He's got this weapon sticking out of him still. He's kind of holding onto it, and he's got an arm thrown over your shoulder. What are you doing?
Not touching that. I don't want to fucking make him bleed to death, but just the fuck happened? Who the fuck did this to you?
I can't breathe. I need to get out of here. And he's still got his arm over your shoulder. He's starting to make his, he's trying to leave the alley, right? He's trying to make his way back the direction that you've come, right?
Oh, I push him down on the ground. You ain't going nowhere.
You kind of
sword in your stomach.
Yeah, you push him to the ground. He can't even fight you. Please, I've lost so much blood. He's just starting to kind of fade as he is laying on the stone floor of the alley. You kind of shoved him. You've assured that he's not going anywhere. Kind of look around to you.
Yeah, Azazel's just panicking at this point, like,
Yeah.
shit. Blamed.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And you look around, and I'm going to say with that same 26, you've got your eyes peeled. You've kind of, you look up, maybe at the top, you see a figure standing atop, looking down into this alley. And as you look up, you make not necessarily eye contact with them because you can't see their face. It's obscured by darkness, but they see you. And as soon as they see that you see them, they immediately turn and they bolt atop the roof of the building that they are on in a direction away.
Shit. How's this dude looking? This guy?
He's looking rough. He's looking real rough.
I'm gonna... Is he still conscious in this moment, or is he gone?
He's conscious, but he is waning.
I'm gonna unclip my... It's just a basic cloth cloak with a hood on. Like, very Hobbit style. Just gonna unclip that, bundle it up into a ball, grab his arm, stick it, and just like, hold that. That's the extent of his medical knowledge.
Alright, yeah. Okay.
And I kind of run back out to the street to find D.
Alright. Make your way back out. I think they might be still away for food, I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's fine.
So, you rush back out, trying to figure out what to do.
Yeah, basically.
As you are running out of the alley, roll me a reflex save here.
Reflex, let's see. Where? Oh, I'm so dumb. It's on the main page. I'm looking at my proficiencies, like, where's reflex?
Yeah. So, it should be right to the left, I think.
Yeah, it doesn't want to roll. I've clicked it.
The dice?
Yeah, click the dice. It doesn't want to roll. Hold on, I'll just reopen my character sheet. I have it on the pop out, so.
Oh, yeah, if it's popped out for some reason, it won't.
Yeah.
I don't know, or something.
It's been popped out for a while. It just
okay.
Doesn't want to do the reflex roll for some reason. There we go.
17. All right, so as you come shooting out the end, the water is slick. This sudden deluge of rain, right, has made the stone of the city's ground kind of slick underneath your feet, and as you rush out the end of this, you try to stop yourself. You see a figure walk right across the alleyway, the entrance. Your feet slip underneath you, and you go shoulder to shoulder, almost as if you're attempting to tackle them. You run right into a member of the Iron Rods.
Oh, great.
As you slam into them, they are also going to make a roll. I'm just going to roll a natural, like a regular d20, and do the math rather than...
Not 20. Holy crap.
So, you slam into them, but they are strongly built, and they just grab you with both hands as you rush into them, almost like you're about to take them off their feet. How they have such sure footing is amazing to you, but they grab you by the shoulders, they grab you, and they push you up against the stone wall, slamming your back against it. And they lean in, and the helmet that they wear is just so featureless in the way it is as they lean in, and they are holding you pinned in place. Where do you think you're going?
Shit. He's been stabbed, and I notion down the alley.
Okay. So Desiree, you would have seen Azazel come rushing from the end of the alley, but he slammed into an iron rod who has now grabbed him and thrown him against the wall and kind of pinned him in place by his shoulders. And Azazel, you've now said, right, they're down in the alley, he's been stabbed. The iron rod is going to bundle up and just throw your shoulder into the direction back into the alley. Show me. And he's going to immediately walk behind you, making you lead.
Being the lanky little shit I am, I would just stumble forward and just like power walk. I don't want to rush as if it looked like I'm running away from him, but I'll power walk towards and just be like, get down next to him.
Okay, so
Like,
you.
I found him like this.
All right, Desiree, you see your friend Azazel come rushing, slam into this iron rod, who is now throwing him back down, leading him back down the alley. What is Desiree doing? You've seen the iron rod and Azazel disappear at the end of the alley.
She's going to immediately follow them.
Okay, so you rush down yourself. As you turn the corner, you see the iron rod standing with Azazel down by this hunched figure that has a blade sticking out of their stomach. From a distance here, you see enough of their face. Desiree, you've spotted it before. The brand next to their face. This is the person who was in your shop and ran away. As you kind of stand there, the iron rod looks down at you, Azazel. Your reasoning better be perfect, or else you find yourself in a very unlucky position. So, as we move away, Carlos, you've had a great night of drinking. This woman that has gotten that you have earned their attention now focuses in on you, right? They have been by your side all night, wanting to have a drink, talking about the business. This person is also an inkblot. They're familiar with the ways that everything has gone, right? They know the work. They're intelligent, right? They've got enough information. They can keep a conversation going about work and what it was like studying, and now that you're back. Now that you're out having to actually work the job, they've stayed very close by, maybe not close by your side, but they've always been trying to gain your attention through the evening. So as you've had this drink, as you've done these rounds, Carlos, you've had a very enjoyable evening. You've made a number of contacts, right? You've been able to schmooze in enough with a lot of the regular crowd here. And this, you've had this woman's attention all night, should you want it.
Yeah, Callus is very relaxed, but he's also a little bit suspicious because he's not had this money to throw around, and this woman's been by his side all the time. And inkbots, they're attracted to money. So I don't know if I can do this without it giving the game away. So I would like to cast Read the Air, but it is somatic and verbal. So I can't see a way of doing that without giving away what he's doing.
You can roll me a thievery check here, maybe, to see.
What the hell? Let's do that.
To see if you're able to do this without, without.
Well, it's stealth or thievery. It doesn't make any difference. You got +2 on both, so. But yeah, I'll roll thievery. Let's give this a go.
That'll do. Yeah. So you're able to. You feel confident that you've been able to get this spell off without it gaining the attention of anybody around you.
Okay, so read the room. It's you take a deep breath, and I'll tell you what. Take a deep breath as you survey the social situation. Show courtesy to all around you, as your intuition swiftly picks up clues about the social context and unspoken assumptions of behaviour. Your body language subconsciously changes. You take advantage of this information, use it to your own, use it in your own interactions with these creatures. As part of the casting spell, you recall knowledge. Excited to gain information about the immediate social situation. You also get a +1 bonus to next diplomacy check.
Okay.
On the creature. So basically, I want to use this to get a read.
Yeah.
This person, find out.
All right. Yeah. So you can
what
go
their
ahead and,
interest is.
Yeah, you can roll me a society check here. to give you the idea of what's happening around you. All right.
Add it automatically in this case, or should I just put it in plus? Yeah, right, I've added a +1. Is that okay?
Yeah. It's fine. Man. Well, but again, the spell really helps the DC here, right? So as you get a read on the area around it, and this woman in particular, right? Yeah, I mean, you came in, you bought a 3 gold drink, which is not anything to scoff at for a normal person. This person seems to be what they are. It seems to be they seem you seem you get the impression that they are what they seem to be, right? But they're also interested in money, right? And so they see you now. They've bought into the whole, you're in a good place financially. They see maybe an opportunity here, to settle in with somebody who, has a client that pays them well, right? Like, they're interested in you. Even if that interest maybe only be for this evening.
Okay. Carlos, what's it? Let me said, well, it's very good. Can I get you a drink? Would you like one of these?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. She would accept one graciously, Absolutely.
So, Carlos will go to the bar and get another 2.
Mm-hmm.
Bring them back and sit about discussing, what practice she is in, and looking to get contact information, so can essentially collaborate on work in the future.
Absolutely, yeah. She'll kind of go over all that stuff. She works, she's got her own practice. She tends to be focused, representing criminals, right? That's a big part of, she represents people who have been in trouble with the law, helping get brands removed, things of that nature. And so as she as you're talking and as you're saying, like, maybe contact for the future, she is going to boldly ask you, what are you doing tonight?
Well, I don't have to work late tonight. My caseload is suddenly clear.
Mm-hmm.
I have an open schedule.
Yeah.
What do you have in mind?
Well, what about your place?
My place. Well, my place. It's being redecorated at the moment. It's not a great place to hang out. We could go to your place.
Mine's not great right now either. I know a nice inn, not too far from here. A little bit cheaper.
Why not? We can carry on the evening.
Indeed, we can. Let's go now. Right? She kind of has this excited energy. So, finishing the drinks. Do you take her to? Do you take her, Jesus? No. Do you leave with her?
Yes, Carlos will leave with her. He won't. He will refrain from taking her on the table in the bar that they are currently in. But
Yeah.
Yes, he will. He will leave with us.
Yeah. So you leave with her. Absolutely. You leave with her. You make your way out of the brass. I don't know. I forgot what I call it. Bronze fox. and out into the streets. And she is leading the way, right? She's got you by the hand, and as you make your way out, the rains are here, right? The rain is falling. The two of you are being covered in rain, right? It's certainly, certainly a it's certainly maybe a bit of maybe not a shock, because you saw the storm, but as you step out, right, you're drenched, right, and you are quickly making your way through the streets, and she's leading you the entire time. And so as she takes your hands, right, leads you off in the direction, she's telling you there's this the great tavern, great inn, not too far from here, right? Being very forward about this whole process. Is this something Carlos is used to?
Absolutely not. He is a penniless guy. He's got nothing. He was an indentured, effective slave to the school, to the firm he was placed with. So yeah, this is
absolutely.
He had no freedom before graduating.
Perfect. So you find yourself at this no-name inn, right? It's not the best. It's not in the best part of town, but in any case, you're there together. She pays for the room. The two of you go up to it. As you make your way inside, what kind of roll do you want to give me, Carlos? About your situation here, about what's going on.
Let's see.
She's into you, right? This whole time it's been reading, she's into you, and this is a first for you, but you feel like you are swept off your feet, yeah?
Got to be performance.
Performance? Okay, yeah. You're gonna roll me a performance check. Okay, perfect. Yeah. And so, performance, not bad, right? And so, roll me okay, so you roll me the performance. Roll me a roll me roll me a perception here. It's kind of a shame that so much is tied in with in perception in Pathfinder, but it's fine. Okay. All right. So, taken in with this woman, that performance is we fade to black. You spend the evening with this woman, and it is quite enjoyable. You have a very lovely evening. So lovely, in fact, that you are comfortable. You're feeling great. You and her, when you are finished, lay next to each other and slowly drowse away into the evening sleep. And so, with a 20 on that perception check, sometime in the middle of the night, you hear something, and it draws you from your slumber, kind of rouses you up. You look around the room. The room is dark. You feel next to you. She's next to you still, so that's fine. But you look around and you see a dark figure. You just barely catch the last bit of them as they slink out of the window to this room, closing it behind them. And just as that figure is gone, there is a stern pounding at the door. Boom, boom, boom. And from the other side, you hear a very official sounding voice, and to you, with all of your experience in law,
all hanging out.
Yeah, you know the person on the other side of that door is an iron rod. So, as they knock heavily, they are calling through, "Open up, we know you're in there." This stirs you. the woman by your side seems to be unmoving as this loud banging comes from the door of the room. What's Carlos doing?
Carlos knows how this will go if he doesn't act, and he will grab a sheet, just throw it over himself, and go to the door and open it and go, "Yes, officers."
You open the door, and as the light of the hallway illuminates you, this is a very awkward moment as the sheet that is down at your side, as you look down and now see it in the light, covered in blood. And the officers look down and see this. They look past you into the room, and the woman laid on the bed, now easily seen by the light of the door, covered in blood. They look at you. I guess it is not your day. And they grab you by the shoulder and they wrench you off. You know where they are taking you. So
going pretty well until now.
And as you are pulled out of the inn room, I think this is a good place to pause this story and pick up next time. So, thank you all for playing. Slow burner to build in, and we're still not yet together, but we will be soon. I promise you that.
Oh boy.
All the pieces are falling as they will. Thank you all for playing. I hope you all enjoyed. I'm going to sign out on the stream and everything, so I'll be back in just a moment. But yeah, so thank you all. Just give me a second, and I'll be right back.
Yeah.
All right. I hope you all enjoyed. Everybody who hung out with us and watched. This is definitely a bit of a slow burner, more mysterious, more noir style of campaign. That's what it's going to be, and so I'm hoping that you all stick with us. I hope you all enjoy. It's been my pleasure. I promise the pacing will pick up. We just need the discussion that was had was make sure that everything comes together a bit more natural rather than just kind of forcing a party together. And I think we're gonna get there very quickly into the second session, and then we'll see where we are afterwards. So thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed. We'll be back for the first session of our Wednesday campaign, Into the Red. I hope you all have a great day, a great evening, depending on where you are in the world. And if you'd like to get involved into the community as well as future games, best place to be is in the Discord, which, as you can see, is linked into the in the chat. But yeah, thank you all for watching. Hope you have a good day, good evening, depending on where you are. And ideally, we'll see you on Wednesday for our next game. Also, we'll be doing a hangout session, world building kind of stream tomorrow. Nothing serious, just kind of hanging out, talking to shit, normal stuff. But yeah, we'll see you when we see you. Thank you all. Peace.